when we're talking in the legal world about citizenship, it's like a legal vessel. That's why the word ship is in there. It's a citizenship. We've talked in previous videos that it would be very dangerous for you to be on this legal citizenship right now, as it is just destined to sink, as did the Titanic as a ship. So citizenship, being a vessel, when we're talking about how they operated, how the government, the legal government operates around you, they issue what appears to be legal citizenship certificates. We'll just call them like a certificate of origin. They manufacture these. Okay, so they're the manufacturer, and you've requested to have one of these. So you now basically are going to act as a surety for this instrument or this citizenship certificate of origin, because it wouldn't work any other way. Who else would surety it other than the legal dummy, one who holds legal title for another or a stranger? We had all the warnings from the Bible on this. He who is surety for a stranger will surely smart for it, but or be injured. So now that we seem to be experiencing the pains and stabbings and jabbings of injury that seem to be around us, we wonder what's really the solution on it. But most don't even understand where they are on how they got there. So when we look at manufacturing, this just is a copy of a manufacturer's certificate of origin on a all-terrain vehicle. Someone had kindly given me a copy of it, but if you look very closely at it, it's from the original, and it's got a perforated edge, and it uses the same design factors that we very most likely see in the design of birth certificates. So if we look closely, you'll see that the outer fringes around it uses actually almost the same design factor that you'll see on birth certificate registrations. So these certificates of origin are quite interesting in the wordings that are on them, coming from the manufacturer. It even states on this one with just basically identifying the the thing that was produced, and it says, I, the undersigned authorized representative of the company, firm, or corporation named below, hereby certify that the new vehicle, just like a new child, new baby, described above, is the property of the said company, firm, or corporation, and is transferred on the above date and under the invoice number indicated to the following distributor or dealer, name of distributor, dealer, etc. And of course, the signing off, just like they would have the representatives, like the Deputy Registrar General and the Registrar General, very similar format, signing at the bottom for the company. Okay, so each one of these countries is like a company under each little state or sovereignty, franchise or subsidiary of the parent company. And very interesting things on the back too. They break it down to who's the lien holder on the back of the certificate, the odometer reading, or the age of when it began, to prove that it started at a certain timing, and then basically who basically has their hands on it. And so we're not going to go down the rabbit hole of trying to figure out where all these went and who purchased, interest into these certificates, because the manufacturer has the right to do what it wants to do. And so it's not you, but if you're involved carrying it as a surety, well, that's a different ballgame. And so therefore, if you believe that you're this, well, then the illusion has taken you over. And this seems to be the game on those that are trying to grab adverse possession of these certificates, when they realize that they're already in a prodigal son journey, already in an adverse possession of a facsimile of it. They're not going to give you the original because you're not the manufacturer. So therefore, it's just symbolic what they're doing, what the government does to operate this. So clearly, nothing out of the ordinary here, but when I put this down, citizenship being really a vessel, and then there's a legal vessel, or we could be the spiritual vessel. Depends on which side you're going to be on. And then, are we we know they're operating a legal system that's dealing with the old system, the old covenant, that definitely was not sufficient. And then God brought in the new covenant. So the old creature you once were is gone. So you had to discard or die from what you were from the past. So it'd be like a civil death to go into a spiritual existence. And therefore, this is the very thing that people are not probably comprehending, that they cannot be the old creature they were. So they can't be taking benefits and privileges out of the very thing that they're basically experiencing right now. Now, most people say, "But how am I going to exist?" And I'm saying that's a very, very concerning question. You're in a burning house. Is your first question, where are you going to exist while you stay in that burning house, or are you going to try to escape that burning house first? So most are asking me, what are they going to do prior to leaving the burning house, but they're not seem to be concerned they're in a burning house. And so I would say anything would be required in order to get out of that burning house. And that's going to take a walk of faith. And that's what the early Christians went through when they were being put up against either burn or make a sacrifice to the gods of the Roman world, or face literally death in the arenas. And all I can tell you is that it appears the early Christians seem to have a stronger muscle of faith than the Christians I'm basically in contact with today. Because most are basically in a lack of coherence reading Matthew 6 from 24 forward about being anxious about their next meal. They're not putting a reliance that God will assist them if they exit out. But you certainly can't be in. And the faith walk is going to be, how are you communicating at that point? Don't even worry whether or not they ignore basically anything regarding a challenge when they want you to stay within the legal. That's going to be a test. They're testing your faith. Evil tests you, not God. You're being tested by evil. They want to know whether or not you're going to respond. Most will succumb. The odds are not in favor, okay, of many coming through the dilemma that is about to come across the entire world. And right now it's an IQ test of faith, because most people are willing to basically give up their long-term existence, their spiritual life, over a temporary existence based on a fear factor. We really do have to dig deep on this, and there are brothers worldwide that I'm in communication with that have taken this leap of faith and were willing to step out and do what they had to do, even though it seemed extremely inconvenient while their legal house seemed to be burning down, and they had to leave because they could see the danger and they exited that construct. So in the sense of what we're trying to build right now, I'm here trying to build your faith because I'm here as an ambassador for Jesus Christ. I'm looking for others to be out there taking on that role. We were spoken of in Scripture to be that. We're not here as servants of men. We serve a higher source, the highest source under the supremacy of God. But if no one's coming forward, showing themselves to be that, speaking to the powers of government in that level, can you blame the government because they don't see you as such? So you need to be absolutely focused on this, and the scriptures will guide you, and we're going to go over that in videos. How many I'll be able to do is going to be basically up to the grace of God. I hope that I'm going to be able to do as many as possible, but we're going to be talking about subject matters that you have to be aware of, and why the government of the legal side, the club rule law, is a law of force and arms, and that's why they're doing what they're doing worldwide right now. They're enforcing their own procedural system, and it is based on violence. It is based on what you're seeing in the news, where they are attacking people who are protesting against the legal system that they are participating in and are not happy with. And so both sides are experiencing and showing violence. We hope the next video will give you a little bit of clarity out of Scripture on why this is happening.